There is an Arc Titan build that will make you feel like Zavala himself. This build has some insane DPS and works incredibly well in raid environments. 70,000 plus damage and some solid DPS, this build is going to make your fire team jealous. I found this setup buried in a Reddit thread from user IamGroot0098, tested it myself, and the damage numbers are honestly kind of ridiculous. We're talking insane burst and sustained DPS that feels great. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it works, the full setup, and the rotation you need to hit these numbers consistently. Let's get into it.
Wow.
All right, let's get into the actual loadout here. So for your primary, it doesn't really matter. You just really want something with slice. It can be an SMG, auto rifle. It doesn't really matter. You just want something with slice. This is going to add up a lot of damage over time, and not necessarily doing a lot of damage at once, but throughout the course of the whole DPS encounter, it's going to start adding up pretty good. I really like Lethal Abundance. It's a great auto rifle, max range, just really good. And then second, you're going to want Salvager Salvo. This is important. Now, the only perk in here that is necessary is Trickle Charge. Your two options in the fourth column are Vorpal and Gear Shift. Gear Shift works a little bit better. I just don't have one with Gear Shift on it, so you'll actually get a little bit more DPS if you get one with Gear Shift instead of Vorpal, but Vorpal is also pretty good. Trickle Charge is going to be what's using those bolt charges to reload our grenade launcher, so it's going to help out a ton with the speed of the DPS. For our heavy weapon, we're choosing the Prospector. I know you're like, whoa, the Prospector, what is this, Red War? No, this thing is awesome. It got reworked a little bit ago, so it changed up its intrinsic traits, and then moved the full auto into an actual weapon perk slot. So what this is going to do, this is going to just give us those good arc synergy that we're looking for. It's going to quick DPS, get all of your heavy ammo dumped so you can go through your rotations, and then it's going to spawn cluster bombs that are just going to proc that slice over and over again, and it's going to be glorious. Now, I don't have the Prospector Catalyst, so if you get the Catalyst, it's going to be a little bit more damage. I don't know exactly what the Catalyst does, but it's going to help out a ton with damage if you actually got the Catalyst. But as you saw, you don't even need it. For our armor, for the set, we went with Iron Battalion. The set isn't as important to the actual DPS. If you went with the Luminipotent set, you might be able to get a little bit more DPS, or it'll just synergize with the arc charges and stuff. But I really like the Iron Battalion set for the primary damage. If you're using an SMG, it just tears through things, especially if it has kinetic tremors on it. And so the 4-piece isn't as important, but I just have the whole set, so I went ahead and went with it. For armor mods, we're going to want Super Font. This thing is going to be awesome. It's going to boost our super stat to make our Thundercrush do a little bit more damage. The targeting doesn't really matter. For the arms, these don't really matter. You definitely want one arc loader, so you can reload your Prospector faster on the latter end of the DPS cycle. But these two perks don't really matter. You just pick whichever ones you think work for you. For our exotic chest piece, Curse of the Falling Star, must. It is a must. This thing is awesome. It's just going to make your Thundercrush do a lot more damage. And as far as armor mods go, really charged up is probably the only one I would highly recommend, just because it increases your armor charges, which is super handy. And then these you just put on whatever resistances you are encountering. For our legs, you need an arc holster. This is mandatory. It's going to reload. It's going to save a lot of time. It's going to automatically reload your Prospector after you've dumped those first 6 shots. And then these are just going to give your Salvager Salvo a little bit more damage. So highly recommend these 2 weapon surges right there. And then for our mark, Reaper, powerful attraction, time dilation. Nothing new on the mark. You should be running probably these 3 perks on every build on your mark. There's just not a whole lot of extra stuff you need with that. All right, subclass. We're definitely going Thunder Crash. Rally Barricade, doesn't really matter. You can use Towering Barricade if you want. Use whatever jump and melee you want. Lightning Grenade does do the most damage, so if you're really min-maxing that DPS, you're going to want to go with Lightning Grenade, but Pulse Grenade for Ad Clear, that works as well. For our aspects, we're going with Touch of Thunder. It's going to boost our grenades. If you do use a grenade outside of Lightning Grenade, just make sure it's one of these four. It could be the Pulse Grenade. I wouldn't use the Flashbang Grenade, but you can also use the Storm Grenade. This is just going to help a ton with Ionic Traces, spawning those, and then getting up our Bolt Charges. Storm's Keep, this is going to be our next one. This is going to apply Bolt Charges to your teammates. Standing behind your barricade, that's why we pop our barricade. We gain stacks instantly without even having to do anything. So really no-brainer there. Our Fragments, we're going with Spark of Resistance. This is just good for survivability. That's like the one downfall to this build is you don't have as much survivability as you do with like, you know, the Bonk Titans. But this is going to help with that whenever you're surrounded, and you're almost always surrounded in any sort of PvE content. And then Spark of Discharge, this is going to play into the arc theme, Ionic Traces, Bolt Charges, all that good stuff. Same with this. When amplified, it's going to increase those effects of the Bolt Charges, and you gain more from all of the sources. And then Spark of Ions, defeating a jolted target with a Bolt Charge creates an Ionic Trace. Just going to help with our DPS a little bit, and this is going to help with Ad Clear as well. And then for our artifacts, these are the ones we're going with. Dielectric, spawning Orbs of Power, defeating Arc Debuff, that's just going to generate our Bolt Charges. Elemental Siphon, this is good for just a little bit of survivability with your kinetic. Flashover, this is going to help use your Bolt Charges becoming amplified, and then your Lightning Bolts do even more damage. Kind of insane. And then this is where Slice comes in. We want to unravel the targets, and then this is going to spawn the Threadlings. This is going to keep severing our targets and opening them up to more damage. Unraveling Orbs, this one's not as important. You can kind of do this. It's just nice with the Strand primary. And then Stunning a Champion, this is going to generate Bolt Charges and then jolts them, and then gives you a little bit of survivability. And then to Shreds, going back to the Slice, going to unravel and sever them. And that's the build. As far as stats go, you want to just kind of focus on super and weapons. The rest of the stats aren't as important. You can boost your grenade a little bit if you want to play more into that, but really super and weapons. And you don't even need to go to 100 to 200 super because of super font right here. It's gonna bump you up. 170 I feel like is the highest you really need to go with that, and then I would just dump everything into weapons for a little bit more damage from your primaries and through heavies. This build is honestly one of the highest DPS and more importantly the most fun builds I've used on Titan, and the fact that it's consistent makes it even better. If you try this out, let me know how it performs for you, or if you find anything that might make it even stronger. If you enjoyed this build and plan to use it, please consider giving a like and dropping a sub. It really helps out a ton. Be on the lookout for some new Destiny content over the next few weeks. I've got some fun stuff planned. Appreciate you all watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.